When I saw The Two Towers in theaters as a child, and I heard Theoden say this,
"The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep one last time,"
I immediately recognized two facts. First, that it was one of the most thrilling things I had ever heard, and second, that I had no idea what Theoden was talking about. But if I didn't really understand the line, why did it still have its intended impact? Some fictional worlds, especially fantasy and sci-fi worlds, are full of people using made-up words. It's a delicate art, like a magic trick. It's easy to screw it up and provoke eye rolls and laughter, but when you pull it off, it's mesmerizing. This video is about pulling it off, and what makes the way they use made-up words in The Lord of the Rings so virtuosic. It starts, of course, with the power of sound, using strange names to convey a sense of place and character and atmosphere on a purely sonic level. Consider the hominess and earthiness one can instantly hear in a name-stuffed sentence like,
"Of course he does. He's a Baggins, not some block-headed praise girdle from Hardbottle,"
versus the lofty, heroic quality of the names here.
Edoras, and the golden hall of Meadowseld. There dwells Theoden, king of Rohan.
Versus the beautiful ethereality of the names here.
Caras Galathon, realm of the Lord Celeborn, and of Galadriel, Lady of Light.
These names all owe their distinct effects to their careful construction and differentiation by J.R.R. Tolkien, working from linguistic models he had studied, including not just English, but also Old English, Welsh, and so on. Especially when chained together, such unfamiliar names can have an incantatory effect that has nothing to do with understanding what they refer to. And if this effect accompanies a magic spell we can see, all the better.
I am the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. The dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun!
The main function of names like Anor and Udun in this line is not to convey any important information, but to deepen its mysterious, powerful effect with their rich, resonant vowels. And to return to Theoden's line I started with, much of its strength can be felt in the thunderous triple alliteration on the letter H in the name Helm Hammerhand, which becomes quadruple alliteration when taken together with the word horn.
"The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep one last time."
But building on pure sound, names also more obviously have meanings and refer to things in the world, whether we see them or not. Many invented names that crop up in lines of dialogue in these movies are used to mark out objects or beings of special interest, but do so using a much-needed variety of strategies. Take, for instance, this moment.
That is one of the Meras.
As viewers, we just see a white horse, and instantly label it as such in our minds. But Legolas's naming of it as one of the Meras serves to defamiliarize the horse and push back our simple act of recognition, making us do a kind of mental double-take. The second half of the line drives the point home.
That is one of the Meras, unless my eyes are cheated by some spell.
Legolas lets us know that he sees more than we can, inciting us to look harder, illustrating the power of language to shape our perceptions and re-enchant the world. So even though we never end up seeing Shadowfax do anything obviously otherworldly, like fly, the possibility that he might has been opened. Part of the reason it remains open is the filmmaker's use of another strategy we've already encountered a number of times at this point in the trilogy.
Help him, Strider!
He's been stabbed by a Morgul blade.
Here, again, we see something that looks perfectly familiar. It's just a dagger, right? Only to have Aragorn name it in an unfamiliar way. And the moment he marks it out as an object of special significance... Whoa! Immediate payoff. A cool effect giving us visual confirmation that this is a thing not of our world. On the other end of the spectrum, we also sometimes get extremely delayed payoff of this kind, as with this object.
Farewell, Frodo Baggins. I give you the light of Erenniel, our most beloved star. May it be a light for you in dark places, when all other lights go out.
Galadriel's naming of the file marks it out, but we don't even see it again, let alone see it do anything magical, until 2 movies later, when Frodo finds himself in the dark place Galadriel's words foreshadowed. But names don't have to be used only to establish interest and set up future effects. The act of naming itself is often delayed, so that it serves as a miniature culmination of sorts, and extends or complicates already existing interest.
This is no mere ranger. He is Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Or take the Ringwraiths. It's only after we and the hobbits have been terrorized by these anonymous Black Riders for several sequences that we find out what they are, and it's only after giving us their brief history that Aragorn finishes with,
"They are the Nazgul, Ringwraiths, neither living nor dead."
It's worth pointing out that this moment also exemplifies the strategy of double naming, where the second name serves as a partial gloss on the first. In this case, Ringwraiths, built out of English words, serves as a partial gloss on the first utterly novel name, complementing the sonic effect of Nazgul with a second haunting name that carries semantic associations. Here's a slightly different example of both delayed and doubled naming.
You are one of the Dunedain, a descendant of Numenor, blessed with long life.
Éowyn's gloss on one signifier, the word Dunedain, explains the aspect that's most relevant, Aragorn's apparent youthfulness, but has embedded within it a second unfamiliar word, Numenor, that goes undefined. So even while we get a little explanation to help the viewer along, at the same time, the viewer is shown that things in this world have to be explained with reference to other things in this world, and we get the impression that the chain of associations goes on forever and out of sight. Which, in the case of a world like Tolkien's, it does. Which brings me to my big point about the combined effect of all these dimensions of made-up words and strategies for deploying them. It would be clumsy storytelling if every time we heard a strange name, it was always referring back to something we had seen before, or was always setting up something we hadn't seen yet, or always came with an instant payoff, or never came with a payoff, or was always defined, or was never defined, and so on. It's by combining all of these strategies and further variations that Peter Jackson, along with screenwriters Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens, generates the illusion of a heterocosm, a fully integrated and independent fictional world, filled with stories that exist apart from us and will go on without us whether we're watching or not, but that we can attach ourselves to if we want. It's precisely because this world doesn't seem to require our presence or be explicitly for us as viewers that it seems so real and inviting. It's a distancing effect that has the counterintuitive effect of pulling in. So that by the time we get here,
the horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep one last time.
We literally don't need to know who Helm Hammerhand is, or why his horn is important, or how many times it's been sounded before to make this last time extra resonant, or even that there was a horn before Theoden uttered this sentence. Even a child knows that there's only one possible response.
Yes!